Good afternoon or good evening, Detroit. I am Rufus Bill, and I'm so glad that you're here joining us today for another edition of Talking To. Talking To is a weekly human interest show that talks about things that's going on in the city of Detroit and also across the country, in your area, or as Al Roker usually says, in your neck of the woods. We're glad to be here this evening at 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is dark now in the city of Detroit at 7 o'clock, and it's raining, chilly, leaves are blowing, they have come down, and it seems like a Halloween evening as opposed to being a November evening. I should say an October evening, as opposed to being a November evening. Nonetheless, we're here and we're glad to be here. And we're glad that you are here on this edition of Talking To. How was your day? Were you able to accomplish something that you planned to on today, like lie around all day, relax, not do anything? Or did you have to get up and get out and face the world, eyes wide open? Whatever it is that you did, hope it was productive, enjoyable, and in some cases, hope it was lucrative. With having said that, we're going to go to our host today, and we're going to start here with Joanne Tosin Fuller, and want to say good afternoon, Joanne. How are you today?
Hey, Rufus, by my sideways.
You're good?
I'm good. I'm good. One of those days.
One of those days.
You said it's raining there. I'm in Indiana.
Are you?
And we woke up to snow.
Oh, it did snow earlier.
The ground was white. The cars were white. The streets weren't white, which was a blessing. But yeah, we woke up to snow.
Well, that was a surprise, I'm sure. Did you all know?
Word. That's a 4-letter word. I'm not. I guess, look, I'm not ready, but I guess we better get ready, right?
You better get ready.
Get ready. Yeah.
And also, we would like to say good afternoon to Justin Hearn. Good afternoon, Justin. How are you today? Wait a minute. Now we got to get the opening. There we go. There we are.
Good people. How y'all doing?
We're doing well.
That's good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, and good to be seen for sure. As they say.
Yeah, that's good to be seen and not viewed.
That's right.
I'm telling you.
So Justin, how was your day today?
Oh, it's been a chill day. I kind of took it easy. Worked out this morning, and then I was with my children all day. Yeah, yep. So it's been good though, and got a chance to spend some quality time with them. So I always love that.
Okay, all right. So, Joanne, so since we have talked with Justin, Justin is now a sergeant.
Yeah,
Sergeant.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, yes,
Thank you,
yes.
thank you.
So please tell us all about that process. What did you have to do? First, when did you decide on even going that route?
Honestly, I when I joined with knowing that this is something that I wanted to do. As far as ranking up. So uh, I just had my 7th anniversary, November 5th. So it's been 7 years since I've been in the department.
Okay.
Yeah, I got promoted back in May. How it works is the department puts out a teletype saying that they plan to promote, and you have to. They put out study material. So the study material, the test was 100 questions. It was 70 that comes from like our manual and our policy, and then they introduced 2 books, and then it was 15 questions each from the book to make 100. And so you take that test, and then they kind of score it, and they say, okay, if you made, I think for this round, it was like everyone who made a 76 or above was the curve. So you had to score a 76 or above to make it to the next round. And then that next round was where they flew in people from all over Georgia, Alabama, just different types of law enforcement, lieutenants and above, and sergeants and above, I should say, and they give you an interview. So they ask you 5 questions, and these questions are all scenario questions. The test is only like 26%. The interview is where 50 is like where 50%.
Whoa.
So you sit in front of these people, and I mean, you really close to them, and they kind of grill you and ask you these questions, and you have a time. I mean, it was something that I've never experienced before. Like
Mhm.
it was intense. I'm pretty sure. And then you get a score. So you get a score based off of how you answer the questions, and what they're looking for is like a wraparound approach. They may say, "Oh, this person has this going on. Well, how do you want to handle it?" They want to make sure like you're offering resources. Like it's a very specific way to answer these questions that they
Mm.
and everything. Very specific way. And they had a guy come in from like Florida, and at first I wasn't gonna do it because he charged like $350 for a 2 day course. I think it was like $400 for a 2 day course. Like there was like 8 hours of teaching you like how to answer the questions. So I'm glad I did go to that because they're looking for a specific method of how you answer these questions. So I got that done. And I'm pretty sure my first words on that first question was probably yabba dabba do because I was I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't ready. But I knocked out the rest of it and I ended up scoring. Yeah, I think my first question I got a 6 on. 4 is the lowest score you could get. I got a 6.
Uh-huh.
All the rest of them were 9s. So it was just like,
Awesome.
yeah. So I ended up with the thing that hurt me was at the time that I took the test, I only had 4 years on the job. In the department, they gives you a total of 12 points added to your score for seniority. So I only had got like 3.5 or 2.5 at that point, or however it worked. And so I ended up on a list, and that list was like 220 people, and I was number 80 overall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yep. And so then as they need sergeants, they just pull from the list and whatever. And so May, my number was finally called, and I got promoted. And yeah, I was sent to the 11th precinct. So being that excuse me, I haven't worked on patrol in a very long time. So I went to 11th precinct patrol.
And the
And
11th precinct in Detroit is where actually, or can you tell where that is?
yeah, that's northeast Detroit. So that's going to be on Mound.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, on Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect. Right over there. That's the precinct that has the Comerica in the
the ATM. Yes, we do.
ATM.
Yep. Yep. I
So
see you
somebody
familiar.
come and try to get that
Hmm.
machine.
Yeah. So
That is
I've been there.
awesome.
I've
Wow.
been there for the last 6 months, and last Friday, I was actually blessed and I transferred, and now I'm currently the sergeant that oversees community relations for the department. So
Really?
yeah, definitely happy about that. It's a great role. I love community. Community is everything I know and I love. So I get the opportunity to do that, and I have a lot of different nuances that are that comes with it. So like our chaplain corps, I oversee all the chaplains that are on for the department. We have
How interesting.
Yep, we have a
Wow.
right. We have a procedural justice community summit that we do every year. I'm in charge of that now as well. So it's really just all things community. I also have several different school programs that I'm monitoring, and so I've been in the schools all week. I was at Gompers over on the west side, and then I was at Carlton over on the east side, and I've been in the kind of the elementary, middle schools
Okay.
as of late, but I plan on branching off and going to some of these high schools. But it's so many different programs, man, that
Wow, that
that we
is
have
so.
going on. So I've been really blessed, and all our glory to God.
How about
Amen.
that?
Yeah,
Amen.
It sounds like a
Amen.
perfect fit for a gentleman such as yourself.
Amen.
yeah.
It really is, and we're very proud and very excited and happy for all of the great things that are going on with
Thank
you
you,
and
thank
for
you,
your family.
thank
Yes.
you.
So Joanna, are you going to be in Indiana all
I'll
week?
be home. I'll be home tomorrow.
Okay,
Leaving tomorrow. Yeah.
all right. Well, everyone knows that this past Tuesday was election here in the city of Detroit and other places around in the metropolitan area. But the talk of the area was the election and for the mayor of the city of Detroit. And as we all know on today, that Mary Sheffield is the first woman elected for the seat of the mayor in Detroit. We say
Very.
congratulations to her and her team for
Mm-hmm.
for winning. We also say congratulations to Solomon Kinlock for putting forth an effort of.
That man ain't getting no effort.
How did I know? How did I know
He
Justin
ain't
was
getting no
gonna go
effort.
there?
He ain't even try.
When I'm doing my spiel,
I know.
so I
But I want to know why he think he didn't try. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish. Rufus, because I
Right, we
want to
gonna
know
let you
why.
finish. We gonna let
I think I'm done.
You finished?
I know when to pull the curtain. 26, a little bit over 20% of people voted for Pastor Solomon Kinlock. You serve in the city, Justin. Joanne, you are an entrepreneur in the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
What went wrong?
I want Justin because I want to know why he feels like he did not try. I want him to go
Okay.
first.
Okay.
So I had all the hope. I was like, oh, even though I was kind of already leaning towards Mary, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but I said, oh, this would be good. This would be good. And then I began to pay attention to, the people that I knew that was close to his camp, and I'm like, okay, well, he said he running, but he ain't did nothing yet. Like, where is he at? Like, you don't understand that Mary's. This is 12 years of her being in the city. Like, where is he at? Like, he ain't did nothing yet. He ain't came out. He ain't said nothing. He ain't running no commercials or nothing like that. Like, what's going on? Like, he's silent. And so I began to reach out to other colleagues, like, yo, have y'all seen Killock? Like, is he on the scene? Because I ain't seen Buddy. Like, not even on Facebook, not even a Facebook ad. Like, I haven't seen anything. Like, what's going on? And everybody was like, no, they don't know what was going on. And so I then boom, then after these rumblings, maybe like 2 weeks later, I see something. I'm like, oh, okay, because I asked people that was very close to his camp, like, how does he expect to win if nobody knows who he is for real,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not like, how does this happen? And so then I seen it, and it said that he was going out and he was visiting every district in the city. But the issue was every district that he visited a church in that district. And I'm just
Mm.
like, who's running this
Mm-mm.
guy's campaign? Like,
Mm-mm.
who's in fire them now today? Like, so okay, number one, you fed into the narrative that he's just gonna try to pastor us, right? So some people don't want that. Number
Right.
two is you didn't even broaden your reach by everybody don't go to church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're
That's
Okay.
talking
right.
about a city. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying? And then too, if you're gonna go to churches, you should probably find out or do the research to see what percentage of churches in Detroit actually has Detroiters in them. Because you can go to a church in Detroit, hell, you can go to Kinlock's church. People that go to Kinlock Church don't live in Detroit.
That's
You're
right.
right.
That's right. You speaking truth.
No,
That
you're
So
is
right.
true.
So I saw no effort. I saw no effort. Not only did I see no effort, I saw this is what I saw, and this is my totally is my opinion. I saw a man that's probably betted on himself and always won and didn't realize what he was really stepping into and thought this was going to be more of the same thing. Every debate that I've seen, he was not prepared. I still can't tell you today what was his plan. What would
Mm-mm.
he do? Only thing I could tell you that was stupid that he said was he was going to give every Detroiter $1,000 a year until they graduated high school. Like, who's going to pay for that, dog? What are you talking about now? Now you just pulling stuff. And then he was big on the education piece,
Uh-huh.
which makes no sense to me. That's pure just chatter talk, chatterbox, because the mayor of Detroit doesn't have any power over the public school system. All
Uh-huh.
you can do is set an advisor on the board, but even then you're going to be outnumbered. So talking anything about the schools lets me know you have no idea what's happening because there's no point of wasting your energy there without the influence. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? You can't even influence that area. Establishing I'm gonna establish a education or whatever that's gonna sit on the board. Okay, you're gonna get one person on that board like everybody else do, and you're still outnumbered. So I saw no real plan of action.
And
It
that's a
actually
separate entity as well, the Board of Education, Detroit Board of
Right.
Yes,
Education.
For
yes,
sure.
right. So I saw no real plan. I saw a guy that got ate alive on the stage when it came to debating, because he had no plan. And then the venom, like that last debate, it was he the one that went dirty. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Oh
Mary
my
didn't Mary
goodness.
didn't throw no shots at him until she defended herself, and it was like he was on this like he literally became something else, and then he tried to blame everything that was being put out on him on her when you really can't say that it was her. It's politics. It's what it is.
It's
It's
politics.
politics. So suck it up. Like, you know what I mean? If you did bad business deal, you did bad business deal. This is what it does. It come to light. You know what I'm saying? If you're not paying bills, this is what it come to light. So I don't feel like he tried for real. I would have loved to see him run for city council, especially with Mary going for mayor, and he lived in that district. He could have campaigned, and off name recognition, he could have won a seat on city
Well,
council,
Right.
and
Didn't
then
we
he could
say
have
that, Rufus? I'm
we
telling
certainly
you.
did. We
and
We
then
did.
he
sure
could have
did.
learned. Then he could have learned politics. He could have learned how everything worked. And then he could have had a time period to back policies, to create policies, to separate himself from the organization of the church, not his God, just from the church. And
Mhm.
then people would have had a trust in him. And then I think that he could have been a viable candidate. And I think that you would have seen the competition much better. But what I see for Mary is more status quo right now. I think she can do an amazing job. I just think that there's so much stuff that in place that she's going to have to get a second term for her to mess this up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's so much in place right now that's happening that over the next 4 years that she'll be able to take credit for
Right.
because she was the city council president. Now she's the mayor. And so I think that you really can't like judge anything that happens this first 4 years because the development downtown right now is crazy. Everything that Henry Ford is doing, the hotels, all this
GM,
stuff that's
all of them.
happening, she's going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to claim all of this stuff as victory, and rightfully so because she has partnered on this stuff.
Kind of
So
part in that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so she's gonna have to get a second term. You know what I mean? A
And
second
what
4 years.
what we're seeing now, what we will see in her term, are the finishing projects and
Yeah.
plans of Mayor Duggan.
Right. So you won't be able to see what she's going to do or what she can do into 4 years.
And that's why people have to really understand politics. That first term when you're in, just like you said, most of that stuff is already in place.
It's in place.
And you're now that you're there, you're just signing on the dotted line.
Pretty much.
Signing on the dotted line. That's it.
Yep.
But like you said, Justin, it's going to take that second term for her to stand on her own to be able to say that I started this and I finished this. This was me who did this. But yeah, if you have to understand politics. And I agree with you about him running. I think we talked about this, Rufus, about he's thinking that he's going to be Detroit pastor, basically, and I can still pastor my churches. I can still do what I do and be the mayor, and not realizing the mayor is not a Monday through Friday job.
No, that was a big no.
It's a 24/7, 365 job. So how are you going to manage both? You can't. So you have to, and like you said, it's not about stepping away from God, but it's stepping away from your church and probably your responsibility. And that's just reality. That's just reality. And taking on this mayoral role to run this city. You can't think that you can do, be everything to everybody. And like you said, your parishioners, which half of them didn't even live in the city of, most of them don't live in the city of Detroit. But yeah, because he was supposed to come to our church and backed out.
Yeah, was he? He said everything that he shouldn't have said.
Right.
If anything, you shouldn't have answered the question whether you stopped. You shouldn't have answered that question. You shouldn't have said no. You should have just said or whatever, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you should have just lied for that matter, and be like, "Well, I can't back off the church." You know what I'm saying? Maybe you intended to. I don't know.
And you're not backing from God. You just backing because people who have any sense know if you have 5 locations that you meet every Sunday. The responsibility of 5 locations every Sunday, how are you going to do that and run a city? And then everything else. I mean, even if he had just said, you know what, I will have someone in place because that, the church is not going to die, but there's going to be some and just be honest too. People really appreciate honesty because I know being a mayor of the city of Detroit, I will not be able to continue that role.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
First of all, if you go in 5 places a day on a Sunday, and then you have to mayor on Monday, I think you're calling in.
Right.
That's every Monday.
That's every Monday. Bedside Baptist.
Right.
Well,
but yeah. And like you said, the dirty slinging that came at the end, it was like, what, can't you just run on? But if he didn't have anything that he was truly running on, then it came to the mudslinging.
That was the last thing on the list.
Just run on who you are.
Just run on who you are.
That's it.
And I'll tell you this though, this is going to be the problem. Well, the challenge that Mary's going to face, and is that these ARPA funds are running out. That stuff is over with, and as far as balancing the budgets and different things like that, that's going to be her main challenge, I think. But there's a couple unique things that I think Detroit can do to help the city gain money. Like I know something that's very popular right now is a entertainment tax. Why, with all this, entertainment going on in the city, why can't they add, and this is in some cities, they can add an extra fee. Let's say there's an entertainment fee that the city council passes. Now for every ticket that's sold, that if it's a concert, show, or a football game, $1 goes to the city fund. Now you got to be creative and create things like that and have that stuff in place so that you making sure that we're, constantly bringing in money.
And you're definitely not going to be able to use old methods.
Yeah.
To move the city forward. I believe that you can take wisdom of former leaders to help navigate or to guide, but it's going to really take out of the box thinking because you are dealing with, or the administration, they're dealing with residents in the city of Detroit who are not working, who are not able to work for various reasons in terms of literacy, um, and other social ills. So you're not going to be able to try to calculate on those type of taxes, city taxes, to help run the city.
Correct.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you all remember, maybe when you started hearing the word urban development.
Mm-hmm.
And then there became courses in universities and colleges for urban directors, and a curriculum based on that. And as you well know, and if you don't know what it is, if you're viewing us, this is when there is an individual that sits and plans and researches and does due diligence on the location of a city, its people, its job opportunities, and they forecast for generating money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how to operate the city. And so, as Justin has said, it's going to take free thinking to get money into the city, because first we have to target what is going on. He came off perfectly with the entertainment. We're going to go see a show here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be entertained. We're going to sing, dance, play, shoot a ball, catch a ball, pitch a ball,
Mm-hmm.
Watch a ball,
or
period.
watch a ball. In my case. And so that seems as if a very opportune and great idea, but it's going to take more ideas like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to
What
take a visionary. It's
a
going to take
visionary.
someone who has a vision, who wants to have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and even looking outside of Detroit. You know, when you look at places like New York, who had that issue some years ago because the entertainment, the theater, the all of that was going down.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did they do to start bringing that back?
That back.
You know, that Broadway, the off Broadway, on Broadway, all of that. What did they do? So you have to have somebody on your staff that's all they concentrate on. If that's important to you in
To
the
you.
city of Detroit.
I think another factor I should say, that people want, and they may not understand entertainment tax, or they might not understand putting referendums on ballots to get money, but they understand, why is my trash still out in front of my house?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these lights out? And it's going to take a very uh, savvy leadership
Mm-hmm.
to educate city workers on how to deliver city services
Yeah.
in a timely manner.
And even now, coming up with snow removal, I know there was a discussion even just last week about, because we knew they thought Detroit was getting the snow this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and the trucks, some of the trucks they were saying were not ready. Then the guy came on and was saying, "Oh, they're ready, but we need to make sure that they can get out there." I mean, it's those services that people are looking at.
They are.
The neighborhoods are looking at. It's all of those services,
Mm-hmm.
and so. Yeah, they got to stay on top of all of that.
All that.
All of that.
Justin,
Mm-hmm.
when you doing community outreach, or even when you're listening to some of your contemporaries in your department, what are they saying that people are seeing? And before you answer that question, that's going to really be a feather in her cap, listening to the residents and doing things to improve the quality of life for residents in the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that most people are happy. I would say 9 out of 10 are happy with the city and where the city's come from, and and I guess just how it's the resurgence that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think then there's people who's wondering what's next, and I think that's a question that we're all kind of waiting to see because we all really don't know what's next, and I think that's why it's important for Mary to really, especially why in a time where everything the next 4 years is kind of laid to really cast that vision to show that we're going because everybody's know where we've been and everybody know where we're at, but nobody really knows where we're going now. And I think that's
Mhm.
what's missing. And I think with that, you've heard the talks about not forgetting about the neighborhoods, but I'll be the first to say that development has hit a lot of neighborhoods, and it's hit a lot of senior citizens. I mean, the programs that we have for senior citizens in the city are unheard of. My mom got an air conditioner unit. She got her front porch redid, and she got a new
Really?
front door put on. All from the city. All from the
Okay,
city.
I
And
need to
then
talk to your mom.
yeah, it's
Okay.
programs. It's programs.
I'm
And
serious.
last year,
Sign
I'm
up.
serious. And the year before last, Dan Gilbert paid her property taxes. These are all City of Detroit programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Detroit has to decide who do we want to be. We understand that we're the motor city, and we got that stuff going on, and then we understand that tech is big here. But it's almost like when Jennifer Granholm did the whole movie thing,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it birthed the movie industry. So I think everybody's more so curious to say, okay, where we going? Where we're headed. But I think most people are definitely satisfied with everything that has been. I think city services is better than what it's been. Even street lights are on. Trash is being picked up. You can get bulk pickup at least twice a month. And then you see these anomalies in certain areas. And I think that that's more so what it is because the storyline has most definitely been changed. But there's some one-offs that there may be a certain area where trash is not being picked up, where the ball is being dropped, or they might be a certain area where street lights not on. There are more anomalies and direct impacts of people's community than a whole citywide thing.
Right.
And that's always going to be there. It's
Always.
never going to be a point where everything is even. So people in the Jefferson community, all down Jefferson, are asking the city about the water, and the water keeps coming over and they flooding. Well, it's like I get it, but it's really not a city problem. You decided to buy that house next door to that river. You know what I'm saying? Nobody told
Right.
you to do that, but you. So so then a lot of these things become city things, and it's really more of like you kind of chose to. If you choose to buy a house next to a river and a sewer system, chances are it's going to flood. It's not if, it's when.
It's when.
It's
Yes.
when.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot
Or
of the
how
issue,
often.
or how often, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think you see things like that, and you see the city in a way trying to pacify them, but it's really like you know, it's really on the homeowner. So, but they're trying. They're trying. So, I think everybody's looking like, what's next?
Joanne, do you
Yes.
think that men and in the city of Detroit, these business leaders, business owners, these pastors, these executives are ready mentally to work under a female mayor?
If they're not, they just better get ready. That's just the bottom line. I mean, if
Okay.
they're not, and I think a lot of them are not. A lot
Mhm.
of our men are not. I mean, we saw that even with the presidential election. A lot of them were not ready. A lot of our people were not ready for a woman president. I
Mhm.
want to say it's the same with Meryl. Um, they're not ready, but she's here now.
Mhm.
So let's learn to work together. Let's learn to do what we need to do, and let's learn to help her not to block and stop, and especially as long as she's doing what she needs to do. If she's on the job and doing what she's supposed to be doing, what she needs to do. But no, and it's not just men. I think it's some women for some reason,
Okay.
which is sad to me, which is sad. But she's shown And I know, I don't live in a fantasy world, so I know that everything is not perfect, everything is not rosy,
Rosie.
you know. But let's learn to pull together and work together. And to me, that's whether it's male or female. Let's learn to pull together. Let's learn to work together. Let's learn to do what we need to do for what we want as the city of Detroit. As the city of
Agreed.
Detroit, because it's so easy to bash, it's so easy to put down, it's so easy to find what's wrong. My theory is, if you're gonna come and complain to me, then with your complaint, what are the suggestions that you have? Because for every
The
complaint,
solution.
I need at least three solutions to fix this problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that should be our mindset, because it's easy to complain. It's easy to see the negative. It should be harder to see the negative, but it's easy to see the negative.
Yep.
And let's all come together and work together if we want a better city.
You're right.
If we want a better city.
Justin, do you see a lot of in your department, and I don't know if you're able to speak on this,
Mm-hmm.
but do you see a lot of um, the mature uh, individuals reaching out to the younger individuals, such as yourself or people in your age bracket, mentoring or in a sort of way on how to deal with people in the city or how to deal with the politics of the city, especially as it relates to your position
Mm.
as as a as a law enforcer.
I think that it's 50-50. I think that you got the perspective of that, everybody younger than you who were born in the 90s is a kid, you know what I mean? You got that perspective that's out there. I see that. I've seen that firsthand. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got the perspective of people who say everybody that was born in the 60s and 50s are just old and tired and need to move out the way too. So, I mean, I've seen them both. They both exist.
Okay.
But I think that in where those thought processes, and ideas is, you see a fight. You see the old fighting against the young, and the young fighting against the
It's so
old.
sad.
But I think that, but then there's also a small percentage of people who understands that, hey, he may be younger, but I need to listen because he can teach me something. And
Right.
it's the same perspective that, hey, he may be older, but I need to listen. He can teach me something. And I think you see a synergy growing there. And I think a lot of old timers are deciding to like move on because they think that it's just everything is far too gone, and for them rightfully so. You know what I mean? Because things you could get away with, or in the we gentle police now versus back in the old
The
days. You know what I'm
brutal.
saying? Um, in the
And
same,
that's a whole different type of culture
it's a whole
Right.
different
that
type of culture,
everyone
Whole
cannot
different.
adapt to.
right? And
Right.
and,
Take
and
them up,
right,
bend them over the car, or
yep.
throw them over the car.
Yep, and then with that, so now that we're in the gentle age of policing, that means standards are now even gentler. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
you got officers who, what I'm saying, who make mistakes and stuff like that, and don't, and they feel like they're not being held accountable or different things like that. So I think that you see a lot of both of it, but I would say what I do see is the birth of that synergy of the people that's saying, "Hey, we just want to get the job done." And if you could show me how to get it done more effectively, then I'm gonna listen to you and say, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? You've been down this road before, so I'm gonna help you not hit your head so many times." Then
Right.
boom, yeah, I think you see a synergy booming and birthing, and I think that it's up to the leaders. And it's up to leadership to show the value in both. And I think a lot of times what you see
Amen.
leaders do is you see them sway one way when you talk to one group and then sway to the other way. So instead of saying, "Hey, no, that she, she's overly emotional," but she has some valid points. She has some real concerns. You don't see that. You may see, "Oh yeah, she was wrong," and then they go, "Oh yeah, he was wrong." And so now where are we going with that? So I think the onus is on the leadership to make sure that we're valuing the young generation, and make sure we also value the older generation as well.
Yes.
In your perspective, Joanne, when we're dealing with experience versus not as much experience
Mm-hmm.
in the city, in business, especially
Mm-hmm.
as you being a business owner, how do you bridge the gap where it's a constant learning process? What has to be done? Because, and especially in your industry, when you're dealing with people, or just like Justin, on a daily basis, personalities, um, different situations all the time. How can what can happen? What should happen to bridge the two?
Ooh, I think first of all, the mindset has to be that you need to have an open mindset.
Mm-hmm.
For me, being older, it's I can't negate what someone younger brings to the table. Just like they should not negate what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I know what I know, but there might be a different way to do it. And I should be open to that. And even with the younger generation, yes, you're just learning, or yes, you're just coming in. But you know what? The old way is not, it's not gone. It's not null and void.
Right.
So as if we both have that mindset of, and I think just alluded to that, I can learn from you as a younger set, you can learn from me as the older set. If we have that mindset, and if we're open to, like me, I want to always learn.
Right.
I don't think
Me
there's a
too.
point that I know everything. I know a lot and I know what I know, but I still don't believe that I know everything. And so I'm open to new things. I'm open if there's a different way to do this. And even if the mindset of, even if I feel like my way is the best way,
Mm-hmm.
but you decide, or it's decided that we're gonna go your way, I'm gonna make sure the way that you do it, that you are not gonna fail. So I'm gonna
Perfect.
help you
Succeed.
succeed in the way that you do it. I'm not gonna try to push my way on you. But to me, it's just that being open and being able to communicate, and um,
Exactly.
just helping each other,
Mhm.
just helping each other. And we all can learn from each other. We
Yeah.
all can. And so that, to me, is that's the key, is just to have that mindset of, we however we get there, we're gonna make this work, and we're gonna make it work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was noticing when I was when during the planning for this particular program today, I was trying to reach out to a different type of expert, younger expert in what's going on in the city. And when I was asking around, I could not find anybody. And you know,
Mm.
we've had Adolph on before, we've had other people to give their perspectives, but I thought at this present time in these political days, we're just coming out of the mayoral election and getting ready to go into, or already into, the governor's election. We should have a someone who was maybe getting into the business of really analyzing politics and
Mm-hmm.
directions, and it was hard to find somebody.
Wow.
And I was thinking, Justin, I said, all of these years, excuse me, that when we turn on Fox 2, what is that, The Edge, and
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
was that other thing that Hugh Perkins used to, I guess it was The Edge. We
It
kind
was
of
the edge,
see
yeah.
all of the same people on various news platforms. They go to generally the same people to get
Mm-hmm.
the perspective. But there are other people that are younger who's really going to be affected by all these decisions.
Right.
Not that we all won't be affected, but if you're on a certain side of 50, it's not going to have the same effect on somebody that's on the different side of 50.
And I
Mm-hmm.
look at my son. My son is in his 30s.
Okay.
So a lot of these things are going to affect my son and my
And
grandchildren.
your grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. And though I don't know when my last day is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm here another 20 years, there's some things that's going to affect me also.
Yes.
But we have to learn, Rufus, to pass the baton. A
That
lot of us are afraid to pass the baton because we're afraid we're going to be pushed out.
pushed down.
Pushed
Mm-hmm.
out. But pass the baton and teach as you're passing the baton. I don't want to take the baton. I don't want the baton to be with me in my casket. I don't. I don't want people to say she took it all with her. You know?
I know.
I want people to be able to say she passed this on to us. We learned, and either you added to it or you took away from
Took
it.
away
Mm-hmm.
from
So
it.
you used it as you needed to use it in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
But she taught me this. Miss Joanne taught me this or
Mhm.
showed me this. And so I think that's where we are, especially when we don't want to pass that baton on. We want to hold on to it because we feel like they're going to push us out. They're going to push us out the way. We're not going to be useful anymore. La da 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 da. And so we take the baton to our grave. And we need to let these young people know. We need to let folks know. I'm
Here you
open.
go.
I'm willing. So teach, advise, whatever I need to do to help you, because my years, as a friend of mine said, I'm on the last 15 minutes. You got at least 30, 45 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? So my last 15 minutes, I want to be able to help somebody. And that's where I think our mindset has to change, and it has to be.
I think that where you see people don't pass the baton, it's when the baton has been their validation,
Oh,
and and that's
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 good.
that's
That's a
that's
good
the
one.
issue,
Yeah.
because you have, I mean, and I could just relate it to church, right? So the
Okay.
pastor, especially in the Baptist church, I can't speak for other churches, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But why do y'all wait for the pastor to die to
It's
select a new
crazy.
pastor, and he's sick? You know what I'm saying? And he's sick. I
You're
mean,
right.
I'll call out this church because I really don't care. But because it was utterly disgusting that they went, I think it's been 8 years, and they just selected Ryan Johnson as the pastor of Sterling Jones Church. New, what is it?
Mount Zion.
Mount Zion. Mount Zion went 8 years
I
without a
did
pastor.
not know that.
Really?
Yeah, and
Right there
but
on Van Dyke
on
and
Van Dyke, a historical
Matt.
church, Sterling Jones, and what he did for the city, and I mean, and his influence in church and what you want to call it. In 8 years, y'all, and then too, y'all selected a pastor that already has a church. So I guess he's doing both now. I guess that's what Ryan Johnson is at Greater Burnett, and he's going to be at over there.
Hmm.
But but
Wow.
but this happens when the baton or the position is your validation, because now if you don't do it or if you pass it, you thinking that you're not this person no more, you're not that no more, or you're not whatever you've
That's,
created in your mind. But it's never really about the work, it's about who you are. You know what I mean? Like
It always
I
is.
I
myself.
got you.
I can't judge myself on being a father on whether my kid like me or not, because I
Right.
have to understand that sometimes I'm gonna have to make decisions and my kid ain't gonna like it. That
Mhm.
don't make me a bad father. And
No.
I understand that even as a father, sometimes I might make a bad decision, but my bad decision doesn't mean I'm a bad father. So I
Right.
have to validate myself on who I am in my heart and what my pure intentions are, not the position of fatherhood. But that's the problem with um I'll say, because because my generation to move on in a heartbeat, we don't care. We'll be like,
Right.
here go the keys,
That's
here go
true.
the keys. I mean, you know what I mean? We're gone. Like, you know what I mean? But it's an older generational thing, because it's that same mindset that, hey, I got this job, I'm gonna work for 30 years, and then it's the same mindset.
Same
And it's
mentality.
like you don't have to be the end all be all. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be the end all. And if you are, that's a problem. And it speaks more to who you not, because how haven't you developed a number two? How haven't you developed somebody to replace? And that's what we have. That's what we have here, and that's what you have on the politics scenes. You got these guys who are not selecting the next guy. You know what I mean? If let me just think of somebody random. If who's the next I don't even know who's somebody that be on them shows. Like they'll bring in I don't know. But what I'm saying is that the older generation and in my generation now, we have to remember that we're not going to be here always, and we need to start grooming people to do the things that we do and put them and say, "Hey, I'm not coming this week, but I'm sending so and so, and he's going to be just as good as me.
Just as.
I is as good as me.
Right,
That's
because
just
I
really good
trained them. Guess
because
what?
I
Because
trained him.
That's
He's
right.
my
I
pro.
trained
Or
them.
I'm coming, but he's gonna sit in the seat. I'm gonna be there, but y'all gonna listen to him. He gonna
Yeah,
talk. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But we don't have people doing that.
I have a perfect example of one of my former choir members. He became a pastor over the summer, and he invited me to come to the installation service. And I don't normally go to afternoon services, but because of who he was to me, I went.
Hmm.
When I was there was a representative from Mary Sheffield's office, a young lady. I would say she could not have been any more than between 25 and 30. And she got up and she made a presentation, and she to Pastor Timothy Fountain, and she knew church protocol. She knew how to be respectful of time. Uh, she was dressed appropriately, and there were a number of things that I saw that this young woman had embraced and is now applying in her public life as she goes and represents the city of Detroit. I was so impressed that I called the office the very next day to speak to Mary Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
However, she was out campaigning. So I'm talking to the person that answered the phone, and I'm going down from A to Z about this girl. And it was that lady. It was her I was talking to.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
And so after I did all of that, and I said, well, you just tell, President Sheffield about that, and you don't have to go through everything that I said to you, but just tell her that was an excellent pick, and whatever she's doing to groom her staff, uh, thumbs up. And she said, in her sweet voice, she said, "I'm that lady. I can't remember her name now." She said, "But that's me." And she said, "Yes." And President Sheffield is very big on how we present ourselves in every place that we go to represent. And I'm thinking, oh wow, she has it. She's imparting, and Mary's not an old, she's
Right.
by no means a senior.
Mm.
However, she's young enough that she knows that she needs to have this type of person representing the city of Detroit. And I just thought it was fantastic. And even when the people in the ministers were being kind of rude and coming across rude,
Mm-hmm.
when they brought her up, she still was pleasant. She was professional. She was godly. And I'm thinking, wow, they get it. Train
But that,
somebody,
but that's a
educate somebody.
standard. That's
That's
a
a standard.
standard. That's what we call that, and that is what we call standards. And people have to realize, because what we see a lot of times is people want to go against standards,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that you can't be your own person. It's not that you can't. But when it comes to, and I always tell people, there's a private thing, and then there's a public thing. There's an individual thing, and then there's a corporate thing. And you
Mhm.
have to be able to swing when you need to swing.
Just
You have to be able to sway when you need to, and to get the audience that you want to get. You have to be able to learn to say, okay, well, this is the audience I'm with today. So you know what? I can't do what I'm gonna do, what I would have done with this audience over here. And you
Know
need to
your
know your
audience.
people. You need to know your audience. You need to know your public. You need to know who you're talking to, who
Who you
you're
talking to?
dealing with, so that you can gain the respect that you want. So you can gain what you want to gain, whatever it is that you want to gain. And so that's, I mean, I appreciate that, because that means that she listened to someone who was teaching
Who
her
was teaching
about
her?
how to, this is a standard that I want for my office.
Yes.
Not somebody else's office, but you're working in my office now. And so this is the standard that I need from you. And so I appreciate that.
I do
I
too.
really appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
You know, I was working at a church once, and there was this young guy, and he was interested in playing the organ, and had talent, already had the talent to play. And I showed a few things, not many, because the young musician was further ahead than me in terms of knowing the music of that day and the modern music and the various chords, because obviously he was listening to them, or he had heard them and he was trying to pick them out. And I'm not the type of person that I'm no, it has to be this way. So when I saw that interest during service, I would get up like after during the offering and move completely out of the way to let him express his musical talents, because that would be the only way at that time that he would have had an opportunity to play in front of a congregation, because most musicians who play, they don't allow that, but they'll teach you when nobody is there, but the person they're teaching never gets experience in being in front of a congregation, because that can be scary and overwhelming. And I did that, I don't know for how, probably the length of the time that I was there. And he just grew and he blossomed, and and the congregation expected it. You know, they looked forward to it. And it was just my kind of way of just like trying to push, or to trying to teach, or trying to show etiquette, or not hog it all for me, because it was never about me. Never,
Yeah,
never. And that was Justin.
it was. It was me.
Oh, Justin.
It's very true. It's very true. It's very true. Very
I
true.
think he started off with the birthday song, but
Right.
but Justin knew that one song. And it was so complicated chords. I think it was a Fred Hammond song, and he would play it during offering. I was like, wow, you know. And I had been playing much longer, and he just picked it up. But you cannot be afraid or want to hog all the knowledge, all of the spotlight time.
True.
You know, back up. You see
That's so
somebody
true.
talented, or
Yeah.
you say, well, you know, I think you might be able to do that. Encourage, the individual.
Encourage, share the wealth.
Share the wealth.
Share the
Share the
status.
wealth.
Share the whatever it is you're gonna share. Share.
Well, before we go, we're going to have our sports anchor
Oh.
bring us.
You know we've been missing you, Justin.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. A couple of times we know the games were on, and we was like, okay, well, guess we're not gonna see Justin today, because guess what? The game is on, so he is glued, and he's probably having a fit, because that one day I think the Lions lost or something.
Yeah,
He said
probably.
Justin probably he ain't ready to talk to nobody. 'Cause he's gonna get on here and be like,
Yeah, but it's amazing. It's an amazing time to be a member of this community, and with the sports that we got going on. The Tigers, almost made it to the ALDS, but they fell short. I thought that was a coaching decision. You had the best pitcher in baseball, literally the best pitcher in baseball, and who was throwing 100 miles an hour in the sixth inning. Tigers had a 2-run lead, and they took him out of the game. I could understand if this wasn't the last game. Like, this is literally for all the marbles. It's game 5. It's literally the it. and they pulled him. Subsequently, the other team came in, knocked in 2 runs. The game was tied. That game went to, I think that game was over around 2 o'clock in the morning. It went to like 14, 15 innings. The Tigers ended up losing, and that ended the season. And it went on for so long. But to me, your ace is in the game. He's striking out everybody. You got a 2-run lead. You keep him in the game. You literally keep him in the game until he can't pitch anymore.
Right.
And what was said was he had given all he got. And it's like, okay, well, he's still throwing 100 miles an hour. So how do you say typically
He's still giving.
He wasn't tired.
He wasn't tired. And so I think that ultimately I would say the Tigers wouldn't have probably made it past there because their hitting was too spotty. But it's like, man, you leave the best pitcher in baseball. And in other news, the Lions won today. They owed they needed a BTA day. They needed to be, and they got it. They won 44-22 against the Washington Commanders. If everybody remember last playoffs, the Washington Commanders knocked the Lions out of the playoffs.
Oh, that's right.
So it was a rematch today. The Lions got the better end of that. The game got real chippy. One of the players actually punched Amar St. Brown. Why can't I say his name right now?
Violence on the field.
And that player was ejected. But the Lions won 44-22. Dan Campbell notably today took over play calls and was actually calling the offense. So that was something that was very interesting and very eye-opening. And the Lions offense was flawless. So maybe he should call plays more often. The Pistons are playing right now currently. They're up 27-21 against the 76ers. The Pistons are been off to a great start. And it's one of those things where they drafted well, and last year they turned it on, and I just feel bad for the former GM. I used to call him the old Baptist preacher. His name was Tony Weaver because he sounded like one. But he literally drafted Cade Cunningham. The Pistons core, he mainly drafted him, and now they're reaping the benefits. Cade and Duran both had 30 points last game, and the Pistons are on a 5-game winning streak right now. So basketball is and they're right now. I think they're number 1 in the East or number 2. I think it may have changed, but they're either number 1, number 2 in the Eastern Conference. Now we only have played 7 games out of 81, so these things can go bad really quickly. But it's a good start.
We're hopeful.
I'm just saying because it's too early for that to mean anything. That's my.
He's a realist.
Yeah, it's too early.
Talk about, and I just read that this morning about the coach that has had to step away from the Lions due to some health issues. Have you seen that? Was his name Caldwell?
No, so that's the old coach.
The former coach. Yes, the former coach.
Yeah, he had stepped away from football a little while ago and had some health issues, but I don't know what he was battling. But from the sounds of it, it probably took a turn, and for them to come out and make a statement like that probably means that he's pretty gravely sick. So I'm not sure what's going on though. I've never really heard what the issue was. He was involved in like 2 different organizations, helping out, being an advisor, and then he stepped down to health reasons maybe 2 years ago. And sorry, it's probably been 2 years since he's been out of football. So I'm not sure what's going on, but definitely our thoughts and prayers are with Jim Caldwell and his family. He was a guy that restored the Lions the first time.
Yes, he is.
He did. They just fired him, and they shouldn't have fired him. But that was bad management. But Lions got good management now, so it's all good.
Upward and onward.
Hey.
Well, everybody, we had a great show today.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Look, Miss
Glad
Pamela she came in, Justin.
Wait, let me bring that back up.
Yes, the infamous
Justin.
your Buckeye fan. She wants you to know that she missed.
Yeah, let her know that they were 11-0 last year. They played Michigan and they lost.
Buckeye.
Yeah, they did last year. 9-0 means nothing when you have to play Michigan in a couple weeks. So hold on. And last year's team was probably the worst. Was probably the worst Michigan team that I've ever seen in my life.
No.
And they lost.
I'm sorry, Miss Pam. I was just trying to let Justin know you missed him.
Don't be
Tell Miss
harassing
Pam
my
to holler at me in
friend
3
Justin.
weeks.
Sorry, Miss Pam.
Tell Miss Pam to holler at me in 3 weeks.
Wait a minute. I'm coming to your defense, my friend. I'll take care of Justin. Well, everybody have a great week, and we will see each other next week. And once again, thank you all for being a part of Talking To on today's edition. We greatly appreciate it. Have a great week.
Good night.
Good night.